this next chapter, I would like to show you how you get your data from the test we have just run into comma-separated values. This is the data export section, and we currently have a template loaded. So I'm going to select New, and the template data will make sense by the time we've got to the end of this chapter. I'm going to say New, and it will clear the current template. Now, what we've got on the left here is available columns, so available data. So it knows what data we've logged. So we've got set up axial displacement, axial load, back pressure, etc. All the parameters that we set up in our up here that we set up in our system. Axial displacement, axial load, etc. So we want to choose which ones we want to actually appear in our data file. So axial displacement, axial load, back pressure, back volume, we should have all of them really. Cell pressure, cycle number is not appropriate for us, stage number maybe, stage number I'm going to put at the top. Average diameter change, let's put that in as a calculated parameter, and of course time. Mustn't forget time since the start of the test. We definitely want that. So that becomes our template for our output file. So I'm actually going to save that template here, and I'm going to call that template 1. If that was the template that we always wanted to use for our outputs, that would always be there available for us. Now the nice new feature in this version of GDSLAB is that data is saved to the data file. So there is it's all saved in the data storage at full rate. So it's all saved at an interval of 1 second for a static test or at the full data rate for a dynamic test. And it's at this stage we can choose what data we want to actually export, how much we want to export. So if we had a dynamic test or even a static test where we chose to save data every 30 seconds and then at the end we realized we need this data every 10 seconds, we can come back and re-export it. So what I'm going to do is choose for this first stage to be exported every 10 seconds, the second stage to be exported every 5 seconds. And this is the template that we're using. So this is the data that will be exported, and I'm going to choose export. And that will save it to the GDS Instruments library. I'm going to copy that so that we can find it easily, and I'm going to call this test data test 1, and it becomes a .gds file, which you'll be familiar with if you've run GDSLAB version 2. Save that. Now let me go to try and find that file in the library. We're here, data test 1. If I double click on that, you will see we have comma separated values for exactly what we decided to output. We can always go back, change our template, and if I wanted to, I could re-export that now with a greater number of points per cycle. I'm going to call this data test 2. And now we have data test 2 where the logging stage is now output every 5 seconds. So a nice feature to make sure there's no nerves when setting up the frequency of data that you want at the start of the test, because you can always make a decision at the end of the test.